Father disowned me, then shows up 15 years later and demands that I be returned. Because we are a family, I contribute my bone marrow to save his life. As a result of my refusal, he has filed a lawsuit against me. I adopted my birth parents when I was 17 years old. We couldn't care for a newborn. As a result, I ended up in foster care. My family adopted me when I was 2 years old. My life is filled with joy. Why wouldn't I have with my birth parents? My birth parents made contact with me around a month ago. Long story short, my biological father is ill and need a bone marrow transplant. They are on a waiting list, but have not yet received a response. I'm the only child they've ever had a chance with, or I'm very much a match. They wanted my parents to test me and then donate my bone marrow to him. My parents assured me that it was entirely up to me, and after some consideration, I replied, "No, I don't know them. Apart from that, they gave birth to me. They've had no role in my life. It's only now that they've realized." So they sent my parents a nasty note threatening that they could sue to force me to contribute my marrow. I certainly feel awful, but I don't believe this is my fault. I'm a boy, but I'm flattered that some of you think I'm pretty enough to be a girl. I have no contact or anything with my birth parents because, according to my parents, I was placed in foster care when I was less than a month old. That's how they attracted my attention. And they made the decision to adopt me, which was finalized. When I turned 2, I discovered that I have 4 siblings and that I have. When I was old enough, they informed me that I was adopted. But, aside than that, I had no idea who my birth parents were or what they looked like. Someone suggested that I do it because what if I need medical information, want to get to know them, or something similar in the future? No, I don't want to get to know these folks. None. I have no desire to locate grandparents, cousins, or uncles. I'm not interested in learning if a rare cancer runs in the family. They are not my relatives. I haven't spent the last 17 years of my life doing anything. Why would I want to tell their story to my 25M? My partner is terrified of COVID, which is harming our relationship. Just a smidgen on, and my fiancée Ariana works as a teacher's aide at a local elementary school. She recently received her booster shot and has no past medical issues that may predispose her to a severe case of COVID. I'm also immunized twice. We live in the Los Angeles area, where COVID regulations are still in place. The mask rule, as well as social distance, remain in effect. And now there are COVID vaccine mandates. However, as things have begun to open up in the last few months, my girlfriend has been reluctant to do anything that requires her to be out in public. I purchased Dodger tickets. She backed out on me, so I ended up going with my brother. She is adamantly opposed to going to a sit-down restaurant. Even when he is playing, the room is generally vacant and the tables are mostly empty. Going to the cinema is one of my favorite pleasures. And if I'm going to drag her to the movies, it needs to be early in the morning. That way, Aaron, with more than 10 people in the theater, it's become a problem. Whenever I have family functions such as birthday dinners or special celebrations, she always rejects, citing a lack of safety, and I attend alone. Dates are extremely restricted. We only eat takeaway and mostly stay up late. I understand the hazards of COVID, but now that I'm vaccinated, I'd like to do more things like travel, eat out, and visit amusement parks, and she's still aliens to all of those things. TLDR girlfriend is triple vaccinated, but she is still frightened of COVID and going out. And I'm getting frustrated as a result. Story 3, should I, 21M, pursue a romantic relationship with a good friend or move on? When I returned to college this fall, I joined a group of people who shared my love in anime. I met a cute girl, 23F, in the group who I didn't chat to much outside of group hangouts, but we would talk a lot at them. Fast forward 2 months and we are normal friends. We ended up cuddling for 8 hours one night. It was a fascinating experience that she initiated without asking. We talked a lot during it, and it was just a mutual thing. We didn't have romantic feelings for one another until another month and a half later, during the Christmas season, when I began to develop feelings. We had talked about a lot of intimate things that had happened to us during our lives at that point, about the time she was overheard to have sentiments. But I didn't pursue it since I don't enjoy making decisions unless I'm certain. And she hasn't been interested in a romantic relationship for a long time due to things from the past, the personal, or the fact that we ended up snuggling again a month later. But we didn't see one another for about 3 months after nothing evolved beyond that feelings kind of schedule, so we didn't hang out much. There was also a time when we didn't talk for a month or so because something happened and our friend group disintegrated. We just wanted some space, but neither me nor her were available on Saturday. We simply did not converse or socialize. But after that, it was just me and her as friends left. She couldn't have many friends in the region because she moved from California after completing high school. When we started hanging out again, she told me that she didn't have anybody else to hang out with and that she was grateful I was still in her life. When we started hanging out, my feelings began to return, but I chose not to push or pursue her since I thought it would be wrong do of what. Things were normal. We just met a few new friends on Hangouts, both me and her, and in October, things started to change and we started to get a lot closer because of what was going on around us. We began talking a lot, and about 3 weeks ago we had a long call that was emotional, in a nice way, and in which we discussed a lot. She stated that she values and trusts me more than everyone else she had in her life. I'd like to pursue it at this point. But, as I previously stated, she didn't shoot me down because of her previous relationship because she doesn't want to be in one right now. I haven't made a single move. That's merely a reason, and she says it to males who have approached her. I just don't feel like the odds are in my favor, and I don't want to jeopardize our relationship. Should I just concentrate on myself and strengthen my friendship with her, hoping that one day the time will arrive when it can happen? Or should I just dump the feelings and settle for just friends and moving on blur? I met a girl a year ago, and we've had meaningful chats, cuddled a few times, and held hands a few times, but she's not interested in a relationship for personal reasons. That is why I haven't. Should I deepen my friendship with her and Wade, or should I abandon the tale because of minor financial concerns with me? 22M and 23F. My 22-year-old lover, 23-year-old woman, has just approached her parents for money. I'm irritated. Basically, mine has been a struggle recently. We both recently graduated from college. And I moved in with her in August, only a few months after I finished. She's a winter graduate. There was a lot going on in my life at the time, including some legal concerns, but she stood by my side and I'll be eternally thankful. I had a lot of money at the start of our relationship, so I took her on trips, bought her things, went out every weekend, and so on. All of that was consumed by my legal troubles. I began a regular corporate job that paid more than her corporate position. Then I quit a few months into our relationship because I had moved to this new city with her for the previous 2 months. It's been difficult for me to seek for a new work, but I've recently identified some chances and have offers pending. Our monthly spending are sufficient for her wage to cover all of our combined bills and expenses. While I'm trying to make money for us. Onward she were conservative. Dad contacted her and she burst into tears because she was worried about money and the fact that I didn't have a job. Me left-wing blackmail, and he had a rough start, but he's now bipolar. And I've just been faking it until I make it with him. I feel like this is a huge issue, and he's going to hold it in and bring it up as me being a failure as a man. He gave us $10,000. But it's excessive given that all of our expenses are paid and I have work offers on the table. I just don't like it when she tells him and breaks down in front of him as if we're starving and going to be evicted. I'm not sure how to express my displeasure with her. Doctor for this TL. Girlfriend told her that the can on Dad made it appear as though I wasn't helping at all. And Dad is going to show up.